Okay, let's dive right into this. On the one side, you have what the vast majority of us associate with May 1st, right? Labor Day, International Workers' Day. It's historically tied to the labor union movement and those huge Chicago worker strikes back in the late 19th century. But look at the other side. According to the transcript we're analyzing, that whole common understanding, it's basically a cover story. The source material argues that May 1st is actually the founding date of a secret society known as the Order of the Illuminati. I know, it's a massive contrast, but it absolutely forms the bedrock of this entire theory.
Section 1. The May Day Deception. So, to understand how the speaker bridges this massive gap between a global workers' holiday and a secret society, we really have to look at the concept of deception. The whole theory relies on this idea that a massive historical switch-up has literally taken place right under the public's nose.
And the transcript? It doesn't mince words at all. The speaker explicitly states that the celebration of May 1st is a deception. Within the framework of this ideology, the entire narrative of the Chicago laborers isn't presented as historical fact. Instead, it's framed as an intentional sleight of hand. By attributing this deception directly to unseen forces, the speaker sets up this paradigm where mainstream history is basically untrustworthy, and the real history, well, that requires decoding.
Section 2. Decoding the dollar bill. Now, an ideological claim this massive definitely needs some physical proof to anchor it. And surprisingly, the speaker doesn't look to, dusty old manuscripts. They point right to the United States $1 bill, something millions of us literally carry in our pockets every single day. I want you to just mentally picture a $1 bill for a second. We see it so often that the intricate designs on the back just kind of blur into the background, don't they? But what secrets does it hold, according to this theory? The source material urges us to stop looking at it as just money and instead view it as this deliberately crafted canvas of esoteric symbols, like a code that tells the true story of world power, if you just know how to read it. Now, what's really interesting here is how systematically the speaker breaks down the Great Seal on the back of the dollar. They point out 4 highly specific elements that we need to pay attention to. First, you've got the unfinished pyramid. Second, the one eye hovering right above it. Third, the Roman numeral spelling out 1776 at the pyramid's base. And fourth, that Latin phrase, Novus Ordo Seclorum, curving right beneath it. According to the transcript, these absolutely aren't just artistic choices, they're calculated ideological markers. Section 3. The pyramid and the eye. Okay, let's isolate these and explore exactly how the source interprets these specific symbols. If you zoom in on the left circle of the Great Seal, the dominant image is, without a doubt, that pyramid and the floating eye. Now, in mainstream American history, the pyramid is usually said to represent strength and duration, but the transcript redefines this entirely. The speaker asserts that this is specifically the Pyramid of Egypt, and crucially, they say it serves as a symbol of historical Jewish enslavement. The theory posits that these pyramids represent a period of profound oppression and forced labor for the Jewish people in ancient Egypt. They actually go so far as to compare the building of these structures to a historical holocaust, which they claim has now been weirdly adopted as a symbol of power. To really drive this point home, the speaker uses some intensely visceral language. The transcript states that the quote-unquote blood and bones of thousands of Jews are buried under these pyramids, literally crushed by the massive stones during this period of relentless subjugation. By using such heavy emotional imagery, the speaker is framing this symbol, again, the one on the dollar bill, not as a monument to human achievement, but as a grim emblem of historical suffering, a marker of a deeply rooted ancient legacy. And then, there's that eye hovering above the pyramid. While historically this is known as the Eye of Providence, the speaker introduces a really striking religious crossover here. The transcript claims this is actually the Eye of the Dajjal, which is a figure in Islamic eschatology, kind of akin to the Antichrist. The quote explicitly warns that the Eye of the Dajjal is watching. It's a fascinating leap because it illustrates exactly how the theory weaves together historical grievances with profound religious warnings, mapping theological concepts straight onto modern currency. Section 4. The true meaning of 1776. Let's move along and see how this builds into the next part of the symbol, right at the very bottom of the pyramid. Nestled in those bottom stones, there's a date written out in Roman numerals, and the text beneath it reads, Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages. But it's that date that the speaker really zeroes in on next. The number is 1776. Now, for the vast majority of the world, and definitely for anyone even slightly familiar with American history, this number instantly triggers a very specific historical association. But remember the lens we're looking through today. The speaker asks us to completely divorce this number from its traditional patriotic context. Notice the stark duality they set up here. On the one hand, you have the common understanding. 1776 is the year of American independence. The transcript even explicitly acknowledges this, saying the general world thinks this is perhaps America's Day of Independence. But on the other side is the speaker's core thesis. They argue that 1776 is actually the year that a man named Adam Weishaupt established the Order of the Illuminati. So, according to this narrative, the date on the dollar bill is secretly celebrating the dawn of this esoteric order, not the birth of a nation. And this is exactly where the two main threads of the speaker's argument tightly weave together. You've got the date of May 1st, which the speaker claims is a deception when it's celebrated as Labor Day. And then you have the year 1776, which they claim represents the Illuminati, not American independence. The transcript merges these two things to form the ultimate conclusion of the theory. The true foundation date being celebrated in secret is May 1st, 1776, the exact day, according to this narrative, that the Order of the Illuminati was born.
So the crucial point here is how this timeline supposedly operates in the modern world. In 1776, the foundation is secretly laid by Adam Weishaupt. Fast forward to the modern era, and May 1st is celebrated globally by millions and millions of people as Labor Day. The theory argues that this modern celebration is basically the ultimate triumph of the deception, that ordinary people are unwittingly celebrating the anniversary of a secret order, completely blind to the true history that's hidden behind workers' rights movements, and frankly, the symbols right there in their own wallets. Which brings us to a pretty compelling final thought. Regardless of where you personally stand on the facts here, mapping out this transcript shows us the sheer power of an ideological narrative. It really asks us to consider, how do these ideological lenses completely transform our understanding of history, or everyday symbols like a dollar bill, or even global holidays like May 1st? It goes to show that for some, history isn't just a textbook record of the past. It's a code, just waiting to be deciphered. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep questioning the symbols around you.